Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my Xbox Nintendo Showcase 2026 impressions. So, we had our Xbox Showcase, we had a Nintendo Direct, we've got a lot of other different kind of video game news as well, so I've just decided to kind of moosh them all together and kind of talk about them all in one, rather than kind of doling them out in their own separate videos. Alright, so... Xbox had its showcase. This was interesting because this was the first showcase under the new CEO, Asha Sharma. It's really kind of weird because she's been saying a lot of good things about interesting kind of directions for Microsoft. However, we are getting reports of like layoffs happening and trying to figure out how to get back to the exclusive kind of games for the Xbox platform. Which, the thing is, I think we're getting to a point where probably the only one that would probably able to still be able to hit that for exclusivity would be Nintendo. Especially if it's getting to the point of like, because Nintendo has it down to a science of like how expensive to pretty much make their games. Okay? With everything with ballooning costs and everything like that with Xbox and Sony, it only makes sense for them to put them on whatever platform is available and to pretty much go more along the lines of a publisher route, especially with what's going on with hardware components and everything to make consoles. Now, that's just one aspect. The PCification of consoles, on the other hand, has also kind of forced it as well. That's why I moved more from console gaming to PC gaming of, if I'm going to have to fiddle with a motherfucker, might as well figure out how to fiddle with a motherfucker and get on with that. Yes, it's still in the Xbox ecosystem, but that's Xbox's whole kind of problem. Because we got certain ones turned exclusive here and other ones not. Halo is still coming out on PlayStation. Now, if you are trying to retool, rebuild your brand, rebuild your ecosystem and your platform, that was the mascot and you've pretty much already thunder started that. Okay? The Xbox One pretty much killed it. Okay? And that's from somebody who got the Xbox One eventually, who got the Xbox Series X, and was pretty happy with the ecosystem until, of course, Microsoft decided to go fuck all doodah, fuck all day, do AI and which also brings in the effect that we have a former AI executive in Microsoft doing the whole stuff with the games. And now they are, she is saying that there aren't AI with certain kind of ones, but when Microsoft has been pouring billions upon billions of dollars for like a fucking line chatbot, they're gonna want in return on that. They're gonna force it in everything. So, let's get into this because there are other things besides Xbox's games that came out here. Overall, it was kind of similar to Sony's, i.e., though I think there was kind of more of a breadth of different kind of game content from Xbox's first-party studios. However, that's because Xbox literally has a fuck ton of them that they really don't do much with. But we'll see how that kind of works out. Because we got stuff on like Gears of War E-Day, Clockwork Revolution, and those were the ones that were pretty much topped as, these are exclusive to Xbox. Alright, now, Gears of War E-Day looks pretty good. It's like, okay, we're going back to basics, which is fine, but the thing is, it's become a pattern. We had decent franchises on Xbox, Halo, Gears. We then transitioned to some other place kind of taking it over, and then it just not doing as well. I had no problems with what was going on with the new kind of direction, but now we're going back to a prequel, dealing with Dom and Marcus and what's going on with the emergence of the Locust. It's like, okay, but I'm still kind of interested in the story with these other characters, just do it better. Halo in the same instance, because we're just going back to remake Halo Combat Evolved. That's in July, which I understand why they're doing it. I hate that AI has been involved in it. So that's why I'm like, because I've got the Master Chief Collection. I mean, this is more of just a glorified tech demo to make a game that works in Unreal Engine 5 and to see, I guess, if the pipeline can work for Halo Studios to pump out a new Halo game. We'll see how that kind of works, because I'm looking at it and like, okay, we've got brute weapons in here, we've got sprint in here as well, which is weird. Okay, I understand remakes are different than remasters and everything like that. Remakes can be like reimaginings of it, and the thing is, I would, at this point, just recommend people to go play either like Anniversary or the Master Chief Collection to get that Halo 1 feel, because there is a difference between all the successive generations and iterations of Halo throughout the sequels, because we didn't get sprinting until Halo Reach, and then sprinting became a bigger thing in 4 and 5 and Infinite because of how gaming shifted, and you're like, yeah, you're a Spartan, you should be able to fucking thundercrack like a motherfucker. No, not maybe outrun a warthog, but you should still be able to move fast and be like, God shit, oh lord, he coming, and you're like, ah, as that's kind of coming on. But we'll see how that kind of goes. I'll see what kind of happens with it. It's interesting that they're adding a prequel kind of story stuff with the Chief working with Johnson a year prior. Okay. I don't mind adding out new kind of stuff and expanding the lore. It's just, it's really weird that most of that happens outside of the games anymore rather than in the game. So I'm like, okay, let's see how this works in the game. So, yeah. Gears of War E-Day. We'll see how that kind of works. I'm glad to see Marcus and Dom and all that kind of stuff. Overall, it looked interesting. I mean, it's your typical kind of scripted stuff, but we'll have to see it kind of gets closer. Also, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 with some DMZ extraction mode, which I'm expecting to kind of go along the same lines as Marathon at this point. I just think that extraction shooters are kind of more of a niche one, and that anybody expecting like millions of players to play it and play it religiously is just an executive like not understanding that genre. I think like when you go for it, you got your team death matches, which anybody can kind of play and anybody can kind of get hardcore in. Then you got your battle royales, which is kind of like a sub niche. How you kind of like and play within that kind of role, and how it kind of works out playing against all those kind of people. It's specific kind of death match where you're like, I can take it or I can leave it. I've never been into it. And then there's extraction shooters, which are very kind of like hardcore for what kind of goes into it. Like, I saw the mass kind of adoption that can go for battle royales. I haven't really seen that with extraction shooters. Not that they cannot be successful, but asking for like millions of people to go for it isn't really going to be that thing. Otherwise, you have to turn it into such a casualization kind of mess that you're not going to have the casual people really invested in it, and the hardcore people aren't going to carry it worth a motherfucking hell. You almost can kind of see this in the Destiny kind of franchise. I know, which is ironic talking about Marathon and what has kind of happened with that, i.e. with Trials of Osiris and PvP in general. You could get some good stuff out of PvP. I mean, I got a fucking Gallarhorn out of it when I was just playing a match randomly. I'm like, holy fucking shit. But I had fun doing like that. Then you get into Trials of Osiris, which is very specific kind of mode, and Bungie, like, oh yeah, you could get good shit out of it, but after a few kind of things, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this fucking shit of what it does. It just sweats you out too much and just puts too much pressure on me, and I'm like, I want to play to have fun. And that doesn't give me fun. And of course you see Bungie trying to be like, hey, let's introduce some stuff that makes it less like a dick knocking. And the thing is, that would piss off some people in the hardcore Trials of Osiris kind of thing. And it's like, you kind of have to watch out. So we'll see how that goes for Call of Duty. And how they work with Call of Duty. Clockwork Revolution looks pretty good. It's going to be coming out in 2027. And I like seeing more of how it works out. I mean, we didn't get really, really big gameplay deep dive into it, but showing these kind of characters, of course, more of a kind of time traveling kind of thing, and trying to rework the world and everything like that. It's kind of similar to what we've gotten before, but it's nice that we kind of got an update on it. That's by Exile, so we'll see if that works out for them. A really kind of cool one was that we are getting a new Spyro game where Spyro can actually fly now. So we'll see how that works out. We just got him doing some basic kind of Spyro stuff, but it's like, oh, a new Spyro game, especially since I was playing Spyro kind of stuff. We also got Persona news. We got Persona 4 Revival, which is... this article's done in a stupid kind of way. Because it's got Persona 6 up. Yeah, Revival. That's going to be February 18th, 2027. So I'll see how that kind of works out. I might like that more than like Persona 3 Reloaded. And everybody's been like wondering what it's going to be like a remaster of. So we'll see how that kind of works out. And then we get the most fucking stupid kind of thing for Persona, where it's almost like it was just an announcement that they were working on it. It's like, Persona 6. It's like, and we mainly got the color green. It's like, alright. Cool. So I guess Persona 4 Revival will kind of get us through that hump, but we don't have any date. We don't have anything except for what Atlas says about this. It will be on day one on Game Pass. Persona 6 brings everything beloved about the series into a bold new story. The signature blend of heartfelt daily life and pulse-pounding supernatural adventure returns, wrapped around a completely fresh, standalone story and a new cast of characters. Whether you've been with the series since the beginning, or this is your very first Persona experience, you belong here. Now, I'm one that came in for Persona 5, and I really enjoyed it. And looking throughout the series, I think that you mainly get into a certain kind of one that is yours, and then... almost kind of like Final Fantasy, or maybe even Dragon Quest to a degree, where you find one that's yours, and then you might play certain other ones, but it's never going to hit that one that like kind of got you into it. So we'll see what goes on here. They didn't say anything about high school yet. So we'll have to see how they kind of work out with it, because Metaphor didn't have it in like a kind of school setting or anything that's usually typical to it, and they could have done it kind of similar to like Fire Emblem, where you're like, I'm going to teach these kids about all this kind of shit. So we'll see if they decide to go still with high school, or if they transition to like adults or some other kind of thing, or college. We don't know. We've got like no information other than we're working on it. So like, okay, at least we got that. So we'll see how that works out there. Vivarium, evidently, the Lifesome Adventure by Studio Meadowflower. Let me see. Timeless anime. Oh yeah, that's right, the anime classics one. Step into a summer that never ends as Jenny, a bright and energetic resident of a tiny terrarium town. Vivarium syncs to your real-world calendar to bring daily narrative events and quests throughout its emotional campaign. Spend days completing quests for peculiar neighbors, or becoming emotional environmental puzzles, or tending to your garden and home. We also got a look at Castlevania Belmont's Curse, coming out October 15th, 2026. PS5, Xboxes, PC, and Steam. It's going to be 2D action, jointly by Konami and Evil Empire. Let's see, we play as Rose Belmont, daughter of Trevor Belmont, battling her way beneath the catacombs of Paris and the dark halls of Dracula's castle. I'm excited for this, so I'm like, okay, Konami, let's work this. Where winds meet. Let's see. With benefits for Game Pass members. Valor Mortis, a first-person action Souls-like from the creators of Ghost Runner. Release September 24th, 2026. We're getting a lot of September games. And evidently, it's got like Napoleon Bonaparte. Looks kind of weird. We didn't really get too much gameplay out of it. So keep an eye on it if you're into Souls. Like, we got Minecraft Dungeons 2. Xbox Series X 25 limited edition, which I looked at it, and it's like the green kind of one from the original Xbox. However, you look at the back, and it's just your regular kind of back plate that's like black. It's like, alright. There's also a wireless controller as well, so if you're into that, keep an eye out. Pricing-wise, God help you. I mean, it would have been gnarly in the in any kind of normal kind of circumstances, but fuck me running. We also got a look at Crazy Taxi World Tour. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I got the information that they're using Gen AI, and I'm like, bye-bye. That's me. but it will be on Xboxes, Xbox PC, Steam, PS5, and Nintendo Switch 2. We got the Doom Ages Revelation. It's like, okay, that's out on July 7th. More DLC for Doom the Dark Ages. I'm alright with it, but it still looks kind of interesting. I'm like going around with a spear and stuff and a shirtless fucking Doomslayer dude going, boom, motherfucker. We've got the next Senua game called Senua. That had a little bit of gameplay in it and looks about your typical. If you're into it, you should be into this. We also got a thing for Join Us, which is like a weird-ass fucking cult game that looks fucking gnarly as shit, so keep an eye out from that if you're interested. Wulong 2 Wings of Ember as well, out in early 2027. PS5, Switch 2, Xboxes, Steam. Bad Magpie, which is like this magpie doing weird-ass shit. It's like, alright. I'll look at Metro 2039. Let's see. I'll look at the let me see. In-game footage that revealed a first look at the fear of the Metro hunter we will pursue through the tunnels. So we'll see how that kind of goes. February 2027, State of Decay 3, just a 2027 release window, PS5 as well as Xbox Series X and S and PC. That's just like, we've mainly got 2 confirmed ones for exclusives, and it's like, okay, listen. Exclusives work on one thing, but once you pivot out of exclusives, like Microsoft and Xbox have and probably need to do, you're going to have a bad time trying to go back to it. We got Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting there. Of course, Halo on July 23rd. If they purchase the Premium Edition or Collector's Edition, let's see. Oh, 5 days early access. Well, fuck that. We also got to look at Fable, and that Haley Atwell is playing the main villain. Looked pretty interesting. I'm like, okay, that gives us more of the story. She's viewing that she's the hero of it. Of course, every villain views themselves as that. So we'll see how that kind of works out. Let's see. February 23rd, 2027. Of course, the 5 days thing. Gears of War E-Day. And that's about it, at least on this article. But it was a nice kind of mix-up of different kind of games. The best kind of thing is that I'm glad that we've got a different kind of mix of games popping up. I just wish there was kind of like a better kind of cadence, because nobody seems to know when to do it anymore. I mean, except for Microsoft. They've stuck to their kind of E3 schedule where they do it on the Sunday, and you're like, all right, cool. Other ones just keep bouncing off. I mean, Nintendo did it on the 9th, and it's like, all right, let's see here. What do we want to hit next? Well, let's hit the Nintendo one next. So, we got a lot of interesting ones here. And it's interesting because we recently acquired a Switch 2 because of, like, the price hikes and everything kind of going on, and seeing how it works, and it's like, okay, what's going to be going on with these? So, there's a remake of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time coming. I played that on the 3DS, so this would be interesting as well. It's like, okay, good to have that. I mean, all they showed was, like, Link sleeping, but it's like, alright. Evidently, during this, they revealed Kingdom Hearts 4, which I don't... You would have thought that Sony would have attempted to go for that. Like, what the flying, ever-loving fuck? And we did get some gameplay, sort of, just, like, beating some shit, talking about how there, wasn't a concept of light and dark kind of personified until, like, Sora and the rest of the gang from the Kingdom Hearts universe came to this universe, and seeing them kind of interact with the real world is like, okay, interesting. The main kind of thing is, like, doing the stuff with the Disney worlds and all that, but we'll see how it kind of works out. There's no release date, but it's coming to Switch 2, which is awesome. Of course, the complete Kingdom Hearts collection on Switch 2 on October 8th. Nice. Warhammer for 40K Space Marines 2. I'm glad that we're getting a lot of good third-party support for the Switch 2. This might be the kind of main kind of console that you'll kind of get. I mean, depending upon how other ones' exclusivity kind of works out, you'll probably get a lot of shit out of this, or you just get a PC and a Switch 2 and be like, yeah, all right. Minecraft, a dedicated version for that's good. Splatoon Raiders, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Withered World, where you scout, train, and synthesize monsters and everything. The Dust Bloods. The closed network test due out this summer, but no release date. So if you're into FromSoft, keep an eye out for that. This one's interesting. Final Fantasy Resonance, a brand new HD 2D turn-based RPG from Square Enix. And I saw the trailer, and they will also have certain other Final Fantasy characters from past iterations in here as well. I'm like, yay, cool, a 2D turn-based Final Fantasy. You can do this. Like, JRPGs and RPGs in general can have a lot of different kind of variations. And you can have one franchise that starts out as that and have that as its core kind of base, and just have certain ones that you do for that. You could just actually have people make it like that. You can have them do action ones, kind of like Final Fantasy 15 and 16. You can have them kind of similar MMO style to a degree, like Final Fantasy 12. Don't pigeonhole yourself, but understand and have the expectations that you're not going to get everybody into them who are into Final Fantasy into each one all the time. You're going to have ones that pick and choose depending upon what goes on. Now, the thing is, I kind of like all of them and would be able to kind of go for all of them, but I'm the outlier. I'm not the one that you're like, make a good one and just let it speak for itself. That is coming out October 22nd, 2026, and PlayStation, Xbox, PC as well. There's a Star Fox free demo, Switch Sports Resort, October 22nd, Xenoblade Genesis. Let's see, brand new one, where in 2027, and then Xenoblade Chronicles games are each getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which is cool for me because I've been looking into them and like, oh, okay, I might look into them at a certain point. So now they can do, let's see. So if you've got the Switch, let me see. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, and its upgrade pack are available when the Direct was going on. Additionally, the digital Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 will be available July 30th and December 3rd, respectively. So that's cool. Big Walk, creators of Untitled Goose Game, a cooperative multiplayer adventure about teamwork and talking. Set out with your friends through a peaceful and picturesque world full of challenges, puzzles, and discoveries. Okay, glad that we're seeing a lot of that kind of going on. This is fucking nuts. Devil May Cry 5 coming to Switch 2 on June 23rd. That's nice. Liza P, August 6th. Loads. Lords of the Fallen 2 this fall. Jujutsu Kaisen Rumble Survival. So, like, it's not survival, survivation? Sorry, I went to survival just because it's like, okay. Last player standing victorious in this 8-player Survivors Royale. That would be in 2026. Donkey Kong Bonanza getting DLC. There's like challenges as well. Island and Emerald Rush paid DLC. Limited time collaboration event thing with Super Mario Bros. Deltarune Chapter 5. So that'll be interesting if you're into like the Undertale. A new adventure from the creator of Undertale. Let's see. Fighters spare your way through action-packed battles as you explore a mysterious world alongside an endearing cast of new and familiar characters. Cool. Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave. That will be September 17th. Another September game, 2 different editions. I am interested in that because I looked into the trailer and went, okay, let's see what goes on with this. I haven't been as into Fire Emblem, except from like 3 houses. So I'll see, like, okay, I did have GBA one, so it's like, I am into the Fire Emblem kind of universe. We also got the surprise of Pokemon Pokepia DLC. There'll be a free update in August that says a new move, Dive. With Dive, you'll be able to explore the world on the ocean floor and enjoy life with Pokemon living under the sea. There's also paid DLC via an expansion pass. The expansion pass paid DLC is available for purchase today. It's $34.99, and Part 1 Bubbly Basin is planned for release this August, which is interesting because that was one of we got the upgrade pack for Animal Crossing, and we also got this to kind of test out, and I've been enjoying playing this with my mom. I'm the one who's most into like Pokemon, so I'm able to teach her what the Pokemon are and what they kind of do. And she's able to do this kind of game that's kind of like Animal Crossing, and we've both been enjoying it. It's kind of cool to play together. I mean, but also play by yourself. But I'm like, yay, DLC! And we just got it recently, so it's like, that's helpful. We'll see how that works out. One Piece Grand Gourmet, October 23rd, 2026. But it'll also be, this is interesting, Switch 2, Steam, App Store, and Google Play. Welcome aboard Baratier number 2, where players join the Straw Hat crew to build and manage their very first own charming restaurant. Starting from a modest ship, players will collect ingredients, cook up creative dishes, and design a welcoming space to transform the restaurant into the most renowned culinary destination on the seas. Familiar faces from the One Piece universe will visit as customers, each bringing their own taste. Players will encounter over 400 characters appearing for the first time in a lively pixel art style. From beloved members of the Straw Hat crew to iconic figures from across the series, each character can interact, work, and dine in the restaurant, unlocking unique events and special moments. Rayman Legends Retold, October 1st. Orbitals, 2-player co-op adventure, September 3rd. Stellar Blade, as they just announced a sequel at the Summer Game Fest, but they're going into Gen AI as well. Dragon's Dogma 2, Dark Arisen, October 9th. Yeah. Onimusha Way of the Sword, September 25th, which is nice. And Rhythm Heaven Groove, July 2nd, 2026. 80 new rhythm games included, as well as plenty to unlock. Unlock is okay. So, this had a lot of interesting stuff. I could see why people would probably be a little bit more cheesed off at this because it's more remakes and DLCs for games that are out, though they are getting a lot of games now of like third party, which, I mean, this is only about like the second year as it's really kind of starting for the Switch 2. So I'm glad that they're getting a lot of third-party support for it. It just needs to start bumping up more on the first party because Nintendo's first party usually bang it out pretty well. Even ones that are like, I'm not that into it, is at least a technically polished, accomplished kind of game. So, yeah, okay. Granted, I'm more... Of course, I'd be kind of more... I mainly watch the stuff for PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo to see kind of what it gauges on, even though Sony and Xbox are on my shit list for various fucking reasons. I still want to see what kind of goes on to see if they kind of kick their heads out of their asses and kind of get on with it. Nintendo here is just mainly the kind of holding pattern. They're probably still holding other kind of games back because they're still working on to make sure that they're in a decent kind of state. So we'll see what kind of goes on for that. Though I think their stock going down because shareholders are like, where are the Marios and shit? It's like, calm the fuck down. We had Donkey Kong, we got Pokepia. They're both getting DLC. They're ramping up the rest of them. It takes time for this shit. You can't just shit out a really good Nintendo game in like 3 fucking months. And if you think that, fuck off. So, even though I would put the Xbox a little bit higher on that because of the first party output they've got, they have more studios to do that with. So, it's like, yeah, of course they're going to have more out for that. Let's see. Summer Game Fest. This biggest one was that we are getting the Resident Evil Veronica, which is the remake of Code Veronica. We'll see how that goes. I really was interested in the trailer. Of course, Claire getting abducted, seeing the island and everything like that. We didn't get complete gameplay on this, but I'm like, this is going to be an interesting one. I hope that it goes more along the lines of what we've seen of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 versus what we got with Resident Evil 3. You really kind of need to rework Veronica to work it well enough because there's like some weird shit that was going on with that. But I think it's worth it because even though it's not a numbered one, it deals with some shit with like Claire and Chris and everything kind of going on with that. So that was a surprise. Mighty Cuphead Adventure. It's in its early stages, but a smaller team has been working on another project. Wait a minute. Okay, the main Cuphead is still in early stages, but Mighty Cuphead Adventure, harkening back to the days of Sega Master. This was another big one. Alien Isolation 2. Shut the fuck up. I didn't want to fucking actually hit that, you asshole. Showing what's kind of going on a colony world and everything like that. So it's like, ooh, okay, Sega, don't fuck this shit up. Just let them fucking cook and let them do their shit. Alright? So we'll see what kind of goes on with that. So I'm like, yeah. Gen Atlas. Fumio Ueda, the creator of Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, was recognized by Keighley on stage before attention was turned to his next project, a sci-fi shooter with kaiju battles called Gen Atlas. So, I loved Shadow of the Colossus, even though I didn't play any kind of other ones. It was a very interesting kind of game when I played it on the PS2. And I'm like, okay, what's going to go on here? I haven't seen much on it, but I know it's got like weird kind of sci-fi stuff going on, and I'd be interested in looking into it. Blood Message. A third-person action game set in feudal times. Okay, we'll see how that kind of works out. Then we also got the thing for Stranger Than Heaven. We've got a lot of people in it. We've got Snoop Dogg in it. And for some fucking reason, we've got Tupac in it. Now, he's not being voiced by Gen AI, but I'm always leery when people put dead people in things. Mainly along the lines of, what is this adding, and why are you doing it? Are you just trying to do it because you can? Or because it actually accomplishes something that nothing else could have done? So, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't like, okay with it of like not engaging with it, because they've been going kind of nutty dude on nutty day ever since what they've been doing with like a Dragon. We'll see how this kind of works out. Hex, the debut title from Swedish studio Dead Astronauts. Hex is a procedural first-person adventure where a research team must traverse a supernatural world with hulking monsters and strange artifacts. Interesting. Dead by Daylight, 10th anniversary. Teasing more to come June 14th. Mortal Shell 2. Cool if you're into those games. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin. Paramount Games, who you wouldn't fucking think of like announcing shit. I mean, there's a Star Trek game that they announced. Let's see. Shadow Frontier, following Lieutenant Ro Laren in like a horror kind of scenario. I'm like, fuck? Alright. She is an interesting character in the Star Trek lore, so it's like, alright, we'll see how this goes, especially since Blooper Team's doing it. Fortnite. Benstar introduced the gameplay trailer for the next season of Fortnite Runners, which focuses on sprites born from the nearly reconstructed Zero Point. Runners begins later today after the Shattered in-game event. I like Benstar. Gundam Rogue Orbit. So we'll see how that kind of goes. I like Gundam. Haven't really played many Gundam games. There was one where you played like the first one. I gotta fucking look it up. Mobile Suit Gundam? Yeah, Mobile Suit Gundam. That was a weird... No, wrong one. Let's see. An extremely hard game, co-op game where players control two ducks trying to protect their egg and nest from all manner of obstacles. Good God. Crossfire, a new studio made of veterans of Naughty Dog, Infinity Ward, and more, debuted its first game, Crossfire, a new take on the Smilegate franchise with a supernatural bend. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. I've gotten to the point now where I have to look at other like people that are from certain studios that made cool ass games and see what else they're doing, because the studio is pretty much fucking defunct. Bungie. Control Resonant, which I'm looking into anyway because I liked Control. Guild Wars 3. That's kind of crazy. Didn't expect that to get an announcement. A momentum-based movement and a new combat system will launch on PC and PlayStation 5. I don't blame them on that, and foresee more people just avoiding Xbox in general. Star Wars Galactic Racer, pod racing game on consoles and PC October 6th. Nice. End of Abyss, the isometric horror game End of Abyss from Section 9, debuting a trailer and an October 1st release date. Virtual Fighter Crossroads. That trailer actually looked pretty interesting, but it was just like a cinematic trailer, so nothing much there. RuneScape Dragon Wilds, September 15th. Grounded 2, Mafia the Old Country, 1666 Amsterdam. Former Assassin's Creed head Patrice Desilets was announced after 14 years in development. Sweet God. Prologue is available to download now on Steam, and Epic Game Store is coming to early access later this year. Saw Genesis, which was like, what the fuck? An asymmetrical multiplayer horror game set in the Saw universe was revealed by Blooper Team. Blooper, you're doing a lot of crazy shit. Lords of the Fallen 2. Star Wars Zero Company, which is more kind of like an XCOM kind of one. So I'm like, I'm alright. They did more Blood of the Dunwalker, Among Us. New story mission for 007 First Light. I will look into that eventually. Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance, an expansion pass. An expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. Showing flying through islands in the sky and battling massive monsters. Launching in 2027. Jesus. Almost done here, yeah. Sword of Legends. A trailer for Arugon Shanghai's debut game. Boss fight between the hero and a tricky enemy called Kong Kong Z. Master Cantrip. The hero summoning helpers that both fight with him and protect him from fiery attacks. Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. Of course, Sonic's 35th. A Sonic Racer with Godzilla and Evangelion coming to the game in year 2. Attack on Titan 3. Clutch. X-Forza devs. Interesting. 2027. Chronicles Medieval. That's a medieval strategy game. Sea of Remnants. NetEase a seafaring pirate game. Hitman World of Assassination. Okay. Pal World Getting 1.0. And The Wolf Among Us 2. Stellar Blade Blood Rain. Street Fighter 6. With some Tifa. Final Fantasy VII Revelation. The final chapter in the remake. Featuring Sid and Vincent Valentine. Let's see. That's that. PC Game Show. Spell-sided. Star Trek Outpost Unknown. Oh, it's an outpost builder. Okay. Company Heroes Definitive Edition. Serious Sam Shadowverse. There's the same kind of stuff and stuff that's just like, okay. Didn't really hear much on any other ones. Cassette Beast 2002. Okay. No. It's mainly on this for the Star Trek one because that popped up out of nowhere. Thief, the Dark Project Remastered. Exodus? Yeah, they just showed more of that. I was already kind of like waiting for that. I'm like, alright, let's see what works out with that. Yeah, those are about the bigger kind of ones that I'm kind of interested in. If I didn't hit any that you know of or whatnot, just talk about them in the comments. Bring them up. I'm more into RPGs. I don't mind strategy games, but I'm kind of like, it really has to catch my attention. Shooters. I'm not that much into racing games. But any kind of weird one, I'd be down to kind of like see what kind of goes on with it and explore the genre or whatnot, if it's fun to kind of play. But overall, I think that we got decent kind of the usual kind of showings out of them, out of Xbox and Nintendo. Summer Game Fest just kind of like putting out some interesting ones, especially Resident Evil Veronica and Alien Isolation 2. So there's a lot of different ones to look forward to, and God help, just watch out for September, because everybody's like, watch out for GTA 6. It's like, yeah, this always fucking happens, but it's just getting more annoying now, where it's like, everything's trying to dodge one fucking game. It's like, guess what? Like, if you balanced out your stuff and be like, okay, and price it correctly, you can have certain games come out at the same time or around the same time, but of course you let wages go to fucking shit, and everybody's going to be like, I will buy one game or I will buy another game. And then you get fucked. Or be like, I can't buy game. And that's pretty much where we're getting to right now. It's like, fuck. So we'll see how it goes. So those are my impressions on the video game news. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked them, if you didn't like them, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.